Favorite Big Show moment? I'm gonna go first. Him and the late great Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul, burritos. Remember when Big Show ate some of them burritos?
Mm, mm.
And then he had a match against Orlando Jordan, but couldn't finish the rest of the match, had to leave, and of course had to spend the rest of the night on the toilet because of them burritos. Apparently, there was some type of laxative or something. So that was one of my other favorite Big Show moments. But him and Kane back then when they were the tag team champions, that was actually something special. Big Show, man, 7 feet tall. Probably the other one when he broke the Jumbotron. Remember when he broke the Jumbotron at one point, guys?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So Big Show, I love Big Show. Very underrated wrestler. Definitely a heck of a heel. Very ferocious. I mean, some matches he had with Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar. I mean, he talked about how John Cena is like the strongest guy he's ever worked with. So Big Show, man, I gotta give him. But him and Eddie Guerrero, the burrito part, that was hysterical to me.
Mm.
Champ.
Hey, I gotta go with his debut in WCW, his debut match. Remember what they billed him as. Remember how they built him, because back then they was calling him the Giant. Remember they built him as the son of Andre the Giant, and he was a member of the Dungeon of Doom with Kevin Sullivan. And remember his first match in WCW, he beat the Golden Goose. He beat Hulk Hogan, double choke slam, and beat him in his first. That's how much faith they had in him in that company. When you talk about WCW, they had so much faith in him. They handed him the strap, his first match on a pay-per-view against Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan had to have something to do with that as well, because he did have creative control. So, I mean, that had to be a great moment. That was a great, spectacular moment for you to debut, be built as the son of Andre the Giant, and also be a part of the Dungeon of Doom and beat the biggest star in wrestling history, Hulk Hogan, on WCW on the pay-per-view. That is good. Another one real quick. I have to say his debut in the WWE during the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in
Stone Cold
1999.
Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon.
Yes. Because the thing is, real quick, I did not expect that. I still thought, because just a week or two earlier, he was on Monday Night Raw facing Kevin Nash. And it was him versus Kevin Nash to find out who was going to be the giant, the true giant of the NWO. So, I mean, just 2 weeks before that match, and to see, the Big Show Paul White on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre was nothing short of spectacular, especially seeing him come up through the ring and choke slam Stone Cold through the steel cage. That was a good one, man. So those two debuts were my favorite Big Show moments, man. Shout out to the great Big Show, man. Mr. Paul White, man, you've been an integral part of my childhood and my adulthood. So I appreciate you, brother.
BRF.
Outside of his however many face and heel turns he had in his entire career, he's definitely an underrated performer. The comedy bits always, you never thought a guy like him would have the comedy bits in him, but he was like extremely hilarious. But honestly though, my favorite Big Show moment, I think if you ever want to talk about prime Big Show, go back to this moment. It was a SmackDown, and he had been gone with an injury for a few months. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Royal Rumble was coming up, and he made his return, and he basically destroyed the entire roster, like piece by piece. John Cena got it, Eddie Guerrero got it, uh, Good Lord, JBL got it. Kurt Angle got it. I mean, I'm talking about like it was basically like a war. It was like a war zone, and everybody was on their back except the Big Show. And it was basically like a 20-25 to 1, and Big Show won it like with flying colors. And it was like just crazy because I really thought they were about to like, okay, you bringing Big Show back and you basically just have him run through the entire SmackDown roster. I thought they were about to just like, I don't know. I thought they were about to just go crazy pushing this dude. But I think after that, shortly after this, was the whole thing with Kurt Angle and the tranquilizer and the cutting of the hair, and it was just like, oh, okay, never mind. I thought y'all were gonna do something with him, and just yeah, no, just not at all. So kind of killed my hopes there. But for me, my favorite Big Show moment was that SmackDown return from injury, where he just basically ran through the entire roster. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen anybody do because it's just like, how do you let this man just pull a 25 to 1 like this? Like just it was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So definitely that SmackDown return for me it's probably my all time favorite Big Show moment.
Although this was in a movie. Remember the movie The Water Boy?
Captain Insano.
Yeah.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
And then remember Adam Sandler's character Bobby Boucher asked him to be the water boy, and then he asked, how old are you, kid? 10, 12? And then he's like, I'm 31 years old. And then they kept laughing and laughing, and he's like, I guarantee you the guy's still a virgin.
Oh, let's not forget his performance in Jingle All the Way.
Yes.
He fought Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
Oh, that was good though. That was good.
That was good.
Ooh, another movie that surprisingly was actually pretty good. It was like WWE films were WWE trying to dive into making movies and other stuff. That movie Knucklehead, that was actually surprisingly pretty good. That was a surprisingly decent movie. So shout out to Big Show, man. Definitely underrated, underappreciated. I guess because like even though he was a multi-time world champion, he wasn't like what we all he didn't do what we all thought he was gonna do. Like we thought he was just gonna set like all types of records, and it just kind of never came to be like that. But he's still like definitely one of the more underrated performers.